Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, my name is Dinamat Yusril, and I'm as the member of my group, which will explain to you about the methodology of teaching speaking. So, the methodology we choose is task-based learning. In language context, task-based learning is an approach where the planning of learning materials and teaching sessions are based around doing a task. So there are many kinds of tasks that is meant on this methodology. First is that structure-based production tasks. Structure-based production tasks are designed to elicit a particular target language feature or structures. And the next is that comprehension tasks. These comprehension tasks are based on the assumption that language acquisitions takes place as a result of input processing. The learners are required to pay conscious attention and notice the linguistic form that is presented as input and based on the responses made by the learner. And next is that consciousness raising tasks. So consciousness raising tasks are designed to cater to explicit learning. They are meant to develop awareness at the level of understanding and not merely noticing. The learners are required to talk about language. They are asked to frame their own grammar rules. And why we choose this kind of methodology? Of course, because it has some advantages. So those advantages of using task-based learning as the implementation of speaking class is that task-based learning helps learners to interact spontaneously. As we know that learners are free to use whatever vocabulary and grammar they know. For instance, a role play that requires the learners to use language freely. It means that the learners has free choice to use their own language. Second is that provides essential conditions for language learning. So, task-based language learning encourages learners to use language purposefully and in cooperation. So, last is that it's about automaticity. So, research in the field of cognitive psychology and the second language acquisition suggests that automaticity is achieved by using language rules in a creative manner in an authentic communication situation. So, task-based language learning paves way for those automaticity. But any methodology will, of course, have their own positive and negatives. So, after knowing the advantages of applying this task-based learning, we should also know some disadvantages of this methodology. So task-based learning is actually have disadvantages, that is task difficulties. So as we know that teachers sometimes will find difficult to give appropriate level for the task, the pressure from time limits, time pressure, speed, and number of participants. Next is that mismatch between the learners and the teacher's perception. So as we know that because there's no standardization of this methodology, so sometimes what is implied by the teachers cannot be well delivered to the students. And sometimes the misunderstanding is happened there because the different perception and different understanding between teachers and students. The last is that the authenticity of the task. So hundreds kinds of tasks made most of the teacher forced to make their own task. But there is standard test of it. So as we know that there are a standard assessment of the task that is made by the teachers. But because of the lack material available, sometimes what has been made by the teachers is not fulfilling those standard of task that is given by the students. So after we know about the task-based learning methodology, after this, my friends will directly give example to you on how to implement this kind of methodology in a real classroom. So that is for me. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning everyone. How are you doing?
Good.
So it's so nice to meet you again this morning. And as we have talked yesterday, today we're going to learn about vacation place. Vacation day. Do you know what is vacation? Can you please explain to me? Vacation. Holiday. Okay. Tourism. Nah, yeah, that's it. So it will start with a simple question. Oh, it is hard. Oh, can you read this?
Indonesia. My country.
Yes, of course. So, related to our material this morning, can anyone please give any recommendation about tourism place in Indonesia? Come on, raise your hand. Yes, Amin.
Karimun Java Island.
Karimun Java Island. Whoa. What is this? I never heard of this. Can you please explain about this?
That's a small island in central of Java. And there are so many beautiful places there.
Okay. Thank you, Amin. So next. Okay, so I'm sure you know a lot about tourism place in Indonesia. So I'm pretty sure that you will quite familiar with this too, right? Yeah, with this one. Okay, so I will divide you into two groups. First group and second group. So I will give you this poster to your group, and please examine this poster. This one your group. Now each group, please take a look on that poster, please. Yeah, you can take a look at the poster, and please share your idea to friends in your group based on that vacation place. Come on, you may get recommendation. Probably you can explain what is this, where is this, what is that.
The most famous name is Island Human Paradise.
Oh yeah, any place. Okay. There are several places that you can visit there.
There are some beautiful places. You may visit there. Visit all of them in one go.
Can I get?
It's only $7.
Okay, guys. Attention, please. Bayu. Amin. Okay. So I see that you guys did very great, and so I think you have the confidence to make your own poster, isn't it? Okay. So please now each group make your own presentation of tourism places in Indonesia.
Also, we like a tour guide.
No. Just explain why you recommend this place and what is in this place and what do you know about this place. Okay. So come on and prepare one person to next present it in front of the class. Okay. Okay. It seems like 5 minutes has passed. Yes, Yudo, can I help you? Okay, it's okay. Okay, so which group want to present their want to come for the present? Okay, come on. Amy,
They got a poster.
Come on, explain it.
Okay, it is the hidden paradise in Java. is Karimun Java Island, located in Central Java in Japan. Alright. And it is declared as the first world best recommended place to visit.
Whoa!
So you have to, and I recommend you to visit that. Because there are 4 points, for important points you may see. You may swim with baby sharks. That's good. Alright. And you may walk, you may climb the epic hill. Alright. That is a very Instagrammable. And you may dive deeply to the corals, and it is the second place after Bunaken, you see? Yeah. For the best corals in Indonesia. That's good.
Wow.
And for the last, there are limitless beaches you may stay. Beaches.
Oh,
Right. So I really recommend you to visit that. And it's only 70 rupiah.
70
To
rupiah.
go there, and you may go there and you come back only 70.
Oh, full.
It's not include the hotels.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, and let's visit that together.
okay, wait. Okay, so from the other group, any question to Amin? Yes, Dana.
What's your question? You mentioned point number 3, corals, about something about corals.
Yep.
What is the function of corals?
Function of
Like,
corals.
the corals, like some special in Karimun Java.
Okay. What the special of corals? Right. There are so many colorful corals ever in the world.
Oh,
see.
only in Karimun.
I can't see.
Okay, so give applause for Amin still. Oh, so now we know the fascinating tourism of Indonesia, right? So, okay, now, first is that your presentation is already great, but now let's learn how to give recommendation to your friends. Okay, so sometime when you ought to give recommendation to your friend, you know how to do it in English, right? So repeat after me, yeah. If you want to give recommendation to your friend, you can use recommendation expressions. For example, I recommend you to. Come on.
I recommend you to.
And you should try to.
You should try to.
To make recommendation for the tourism place individually. Okay, so do it on your own paper. So next meeting, you will have to present it to each of your friends in this class. Okay,
Right.
So you still have 10 minutes for now. I think you can use it to make your own recommendation individually, right? Not it individually. And next meeting we will present it. Okay. So before you start to make your your task, so let me close the class first. Dana, can you please lead your friend to pray to close the class?
Okay, guys, pray with me. Amin, thank you.
Okay, don't forget about your task, and thank you. You did great today. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.